Alright everyone, it is now official, our main story of the day. Elon Musk has gone through with the Twitter deal. Yes, he has successfully acquired Twitter. His first move as head of the company, sack Agrawal, the CEO. Also sacking the COO and several other top execs. I'm sure that he's going to trickle his way down the list. Like a tactician, though, he'll probably look at like their job performance, maybe the interior details of their communications on Slack or whatever, and he'll sort of pick through it. I don't think that he wants to randomly fire people just to throw his balls around. That would not be Elon Musk-esque. The Elon Musk side of it is walking into Twitter HQ with a kitchen sink, a bathroom sink, and making funny memes and sacking the CEO who he had some disagreements with. Maybe that wasn't great for his long-term job prospects on Agrawal's part. Here's my analysis, though, and it ties into what I said yesterday, and people need to keep this in mind. Musk can say that this is a crusade for creating a liberty-loving modern platform for ideas and stuff. Really, at the end of the day, it is about the money. He decries the very concept in his own release. That's clearly what it's about. By the way, there's nothing better for liberty than for the company to realize that if it lets on millions of people that it incorrectly banned for no reason, that grows the platform. Becoming that kind of public square is profitable. If you want to sell ads to people and highly target them, which appears to be, part of Musk's proposed model, you want as many people on the platform as possible. And like I said yesterday, again, Twitter is the small one out of the old big tech sites. It is far smaller than YouTube, it's far smaller than Facebook, etc., etc. They have massive amounts of potential room to grow if they manage their company properly. That's why it was, not happening. It wasn't being managed properly. You keep banning as many people as come on. You're hyper-focused on banning people for making an offensive joke. You completely ignore the botting, the spamming, and all the crazy shit on the platform that makes it useless for some purposes. Musk wants to reverse course on this. He will, at the end of the day, reform many things about Twitter. I'm not so much sure about the pay-to-play sort of verification concept. He's got some various ideas floating around. The big one, and he has alluded to this again as of today, is the ending of lifetime bans. So a person who has broken some rules on Twitter before is not even allowed to make a new account. He wants to end that basic premise. That's a great idea. It doesn't make any sense to permanently ban someone for a site, especially if you're not going to retroactively free them back onto the site because they were banned by under completely different TOS. It doesn't even make sense. Retroactivity can be a big problem with TOS, where a site like YouTube's done this. They'll make a new rule, and then your video from 5 years ago that runs afoul of the new rule that didn't exist when it was implemented all of a sudden gets taken down. Of course, the obvious solution is that if the video getting taken down shouldn't result in a strike. That would be sensible. It's regrettable that the video is gone, but, hey, you're not getting penalized directly for the fact that you broke a rule that you did not have existing at the time you made the fucking video. Likewise, you should have retroactivity for TOS changes going forward in Twitter. Let's say that you scrap the part about dead naming people. Well, then anyone who was found guilty of that for one or more strikes should be reinstated now, shouldn't they? A more transparent strike system, etc., etc., etc. If Musk only accomplishes that, the platform can't help but grow because so many major content creators were kicked off the site over the last half-decade as part of the pink-haired pogroms, and attendant to that, sometimes members of their audience would leave. We saw this effect, and Musk should look this up, we saw this effect on Patreon when they started purging political content creators. The day that they got rid of Sargon, the amount that I was making on that site dwindled and now is a quarter of what it used to be, even though my audience is far larger. They alienated an enormous chunk of people who were using their site, by the way, losing a lot of money in the process, because people who were donating to Sargon of Akkad overlapped with dozens of other major content creators, and if they leave the site, they're donating to 5-6 people, there you go. It had a ripple effect that they probably did not think of beforehand. They were only thinking of, how can we screw this person who's politically inconvenient? I long to see the day that Trump and Stefan Molyneux and Project Veritas and Sargon and many, many others are allowed back on Twitter as a platform, and that seems to be what Musk is aiming for. I think it should be prioritized, and he should just, in general, and I'm sure that there's a categorical system with regards to strikes. I would just once tell the people at Twitter, my first act here is that you're going to put in a little algorithm that is going to automatically remove all strikes on accounts that were due to merely offending people, etc. If it's not botting, it's not spamming, they're not trying to scam anyone, which is quasi-illegal, they didn't get banned because they were posting illicit porn or death threats or something, it's not something legally actionable, defamation, and that's a small number of the people on the site that have been banned, I'm sure. Anyone else should have those strikes removed. Now, of course, a person can be found guilty of spam a couple of times and their account gets torpedoed because of hate speech. Well, if that strike goes away, the other strikes can remain, but, in the intermediate time, in the limbo that would result before you formulate your new TOS, those people should be allowed back on the platform. I think that would be a positive step in the right direction. Should be done immediately, and it can be done immediately. It should be prior to the midterms, certainly, so that people can speak more freely about some of the chicanery going on in some of those elections. We just saw something happen in Arizona last night that we'll only mention in a New Tech exclusive, by the way. Just to be clear, from I think it was Fox 10 local reporting. Got 5 or 6 tips about that. Thank you, Clankers. Here's what I think happens going forward. Musk has already purged the top brass at Twitter. That's good, by the way. These people are all a bunch of censorious assholes. Good riddance. Mild reform is implemented. It'll take time. Some profitability returns right away. However, you are going to see an enormous tidal wave of attacks on Twitter, wherein advertisers are pressured by the pink-haired freak crowd. Tumblr is already attempting to shit on the site, which is funny because nobody uses Tumblr anymore. Apparently, they think that they still have the manpower to take down a site that is considerably larger and now considerably more well-funded than Tumblr was, just to be clear. I don't think that you have the... I mean, you're going to end up with a war with 4chan again. What is this, the third time that you'll be losing or something? I'm glad Agrawal's gone. I imagine there will be mild reform on the site. But we can't expect number one, Rome to be built in a day. And number two, much like with Trump, and I'm always correct when I make a prediction like this, if you're putting all of your eggs in the Elon Musk will save us basket, and not the we have to develop other platforms as well with more liberty leaning, like, a Gab or a Parler or something, Parler at least to an extent, New Tech in general, using Substack, etc., then you're being wrong because you're expecting Elon Musk to be a one-man army, and that's just not him. He presents himself that way as the corporate branding side of his persona because that sort of charisma, that braggadocio, it helps to sell a product. That's why he's doing that. It also helps to shock your enemies and get them to sort of cower in the corner. But it wears off. Elon Musk is now going to get hit from every side, including potentially legal ramifications, to try to stymie his capability of reforming Twitter. You have to understand that. It's good to support him. I like what he's saying. I have to wait for him to actually do something. Trolling people with the bathroom sink and sacking the CEO is great. It's wonderful. It's meme-worthy. Goes viral. It's very, very funny. It got the leftoids riled up. Wonderful. That's great. Now unban Trump. I want to see his account back on Twitter. Unban all of the others that were wrongfully banned over the last half a goddamn decade. If he can accomplish just that and then leaves the rest of the site alone, it probably gets better. Get rid of the ban system entirely for anything that's not criminal behavior, botting, or spam, and call it a fucking day. People pile on the platform. People love a good dumpster fire. That's what I would do. Of course, it's not what Elon Musk, unfortunately, will do. But the site will improve. Meanwhile, mainly, I'm still looking to new tech. I don't think that Twitter is going to improve to the point where it becomes dominant and hegemonic and pushes everyone else aside. And Elon Musk is a libertarian. He's going to let you, talk about whatever you want. That's too much to ask for. That's utopianism. Reminder that utopianism is usually wrong. Usually it's pragmatism that wins the day. Elon Musk didn't get where he is by not being a pragmatist. Yeah, he has a lot of big dreams and big ideas, but he also gets down into the nitty-gritty and knows how to do the paperwork, knows how to negotiate, and understands there's a difference between what you wish you could achieve and what you end up being able to achieve. That's about all. Peace out.